If you think that nothing really matters, then why do you care so much about your life? If nothing really matters, then why are you suffering? You're pretending that your life is empty, that your life is meaningless, that all your accomplishments are worth nothing at all. But if that's the case, then why does losing this meaning that you can't find in your life feel important to you? Why are you looking so much to find something to fulfill you in more money, more success, better relationships, a more intimate relationship with your partner, video games, drugs? If you got money, a place to live, okay health, why is it not enough for you? What more could you possibly want? It seems like you are afraid of losing something, something that actually matters to you. Now you say that nothing matters, so you can pretend that you have nothing left to lose. Your entire identity has built on the idea that you want to be something, be somebody. So now, when you say that nothing really matters to you, you can kind of brush this to the side and act as if it doesn't matter who you are and you don't care about how other people perceive you. But no matter how high you ride this wave of apathy, sooner or later you find yourself again in this same place, a place of emptiness, a place where you wonder if anything means anything at all. So, in this video, I'll explain to you how the identity construction process works, the patterns of resistance that create all the suffering within your body. Then I'll explain why they evolve from resistance to suffering and the mechanics that engage that. I'll show you the paradox that lies underneath and how to actually work through all of this in a way that is actually meaningful. Because once you see the emptiness of it all, there's not really a way to turn back. There's a truth here that you have access to, but you are trying to rush through the process. You're actually not ready to completely let go yet, and that's completely okay. But don't tell yourself you've let go and that nothing really matters when you clearly feel uncomfortable and unsatisfied on a fundamental level. So for me, this is all a little bit funny because these videos are here to teach you what I know. And I do this for free as I love doing so. But then I also want to build my business. I want to teach people one-on-one directly. And I found that doing this is way more effective than just talking through a camera. And this is why I have an exclusive program you can sign up for. But it's funny that when I say this, now I am building a certain identity for myself, right? Someone who kind of says that he has indirectly found some decent level of existential freedom, right? Because I'm basically selling this to you. I'm telling you, I am specially free, and I'm going to tell you now how to be free yourself. So I am basically signaling now all the time how free I am and how much I can help people, because it both drives people to my business and it also makes people listen to me. I build authority by doing this. So there's something always pretentious when you start to make some claims about some spiritual accomplishment or some sense of peace. It's almost as if in spirituality, instead of flexing with money and cars, you flex with your own happiness and your own well-being and your own compassion, and maybe you put a smile on your face when you're actually not feeling so happy. But the truth is that I've solved my existential dread and I've solved my existential suffering, and most of this channel is about showing you how to make this transformation happen for you too. And I'll go into more further detail of my own journey in a future video for sure. But for me, what is weird is that I can tell you all of this and I can project this character of confidence to you. But I don't really feel identified with any of this, like at all. The identity construction process for me doesn't really feel real anymore. And it's difficult to explain because from the outside, it is exactly the opposite. I am way more, like I'm perceived as very confident and a very assertive person, in fact. But I don't feel no pride. I don't feel no real ownership no real sense of self. And it's not because I've completely dissolved my ego or whatever, but I have seen through it to a substantial level that makes me feel extremely peaceful with myself. And it has legitimately changed how I perceive existence like, or reality like. It's like I cannot find a locus of self in me anymore. Not somebody who is experiencing something, but it all flows just through space. So to completely construct reality in a way that is actually aligned with your own happiness and well-being, you need to really deconstruct yourself first. And the funny thing is that while I teach this, I constantly have to reconstruct my own sense of identity, right? So the moment I communicate that I have kind of dissolved my sense of identity, I'm now building the character of somebody who has dissolved his sense of identity. So I can say I'm someone who has no sense of self while having to pause through the fact that I have no sense of self. So it becomes a very silly paradox. This is why it's so difficult to explain. It's difficult to not. It's always difficult to express something about yourself without other people interpreting it as ego or pretentiousness, because this is the position from where it usually comes from. And everybody in society has their own sense of self construct. And it's not that, it's not that I don't have any at all anymore. I certainly know that I am a human named Marco, and I have context for my world and life. So I can understand it rationally. It's just that the felt sense is different. So now what likely happens is that you project something onto me, something that you maybe wish I was, or maybe something you think I am, or maybe you actually see the part that is missing in you, in me. But this is what we do all the time with everybody. That's the nature how we interact with people. And usually those who are very assertive and strong or can project a lot of confidence, they usually have the tendency to make other people feel insecure, because their own insecurities are getting like bounced off as like you're trying to project something and then it bounces off the confidence and then it hits you. And the less of an ego somebody has, it works both ways. So the less of an ego somebody has, the more you feel like, okay, there's nothing really I can attack in this person. So now everything that I say to them, I kind of just revealing to myself what I feel. Like if I have to constantly tell you, I don't care what you think, I don't care what you think, well, it will always come off in the way that I care very much about what you think, right? Why wouldn't I say that I don't? So it's difficult to understand or have the discernment between what is projection and what is sincere insight. And on the other hand, if you are somebody or you know somebody that has a very strong sense of identity, then instead of flowing through them and then bouncing back, it is just a wall that you hit that bounces back. And if you're somebody who is proud because you have had a lot of accomplishments in your life, and you feel proud about whatever you have accomplished, then it is very likely that you see pride in other people who also are successful and accomplished, despite them not having any pride at all. And they might even say the same things that you say. And from your internal experience, when you say the same thing, it has to be prideful. But for them, it isn't like this at all. This is where spiritual communities are extremely toxic, because it is very difficult to distinguish somebody who is sincerely seen through their sense of self to a significant degree and somebody who is trying to project that image onto others by reaffirming it and telling others, this is what my experience is like. So I come to tell you that, I've realized the nature of no self. I am constantly in the position of not having a solid identity that I can reaffirm. And since then, I feel I'm a soup of sensation that is just floating in time and space. And this is just how my experience is like. And this is what I try to communicate. And I found that I like to explain all of these spiritual topics in a way that is useful for people, but I tend to not explore my own experience too much directly because I feel like I'm just feeding into this projection loop. Um, it's the same thing if I say, okay, I am somebody who considers itself self-realized, and now just like, what does this even mean? It is such like using labels is such a way to confuse everybody. So there's this weird thing where I kind of want to explain them more in depth and talk from genuine experience, but I'm also very about not creating more concepts and beliefs in people where they just imagine what it means to be free of no self or free of a sense of self. So if you think about your life in a sense of a spiritual journey, where you kind of up the levels of consciousness, then what you do is you immediately compare yourself to the experience, or like my experience when I make some claims. And then you orient yourself towards whatever I'm saying. Oh, he is claiming he is this. I think I'm this already too. Or I think he has achieved this sort of realization. I wonder how it's like to be there. He's more advanced than me. And then you can always play these hierarchies, right? And this is what teachers automatically fall into. The moment I'm somebody who has realized something and I tell you this is how it is like, then I'm projecting authority and putting myself above you. And this is how it's being perceived. And there's not really anything that I can do, or any teacher for that matter, that they can do to completely circumvent that. And this is why all like enlightened teachers would never say, I'm enlightened, because it is the most arrogant thing you could possibly claim from the position of the ego. And it gets all the wires crossed. It is not an effective way to communicate that which the ego cannot have. Because the ego works always through comparisons. It is always about, where am I in comparison to this other person or this other being? And there it lives. So spiritual comparisons become then a very, very deep ingrained part of the psyche. The person who moves from the societal ego that understands, okay, success isn't going to make me happy, fame is going to make me happy, I'm going to go through the journey of self-discovery, and then I'm going to find finally what my purpose in life is, or what I truly am. And then you envision yourself in this journey where you have some goal and a path to follow, and then you just remove the societal ego with the spiritual ego, and now it's about, where am I in my spiritual journey in comparison to other people? Now, instead of playing status games, it's about games of compassion and happiness and oneness and weird psychedelic experiences that you are constantly in access in, or how peaceful you are, or whatever. How little you care about how other people perceive you. And I used to play these games too for a good while before I could notice this, because the disadvantage of being somebody who self-reflects a lot is that you come to a point where you cannot conceive of the idea that you have a blind spot, because you're so self-reflective and so aware of yourself that whenever somebody sees something in you that you don't see in yourself, then you completely reject it. And it's in the rejection that you should probably be very careful of. Whenever somebody sees something in you and you go, that's just projection, be careful. If you react thinking that that the other person is projecting, then this reaction should tell more about yourself than anything else. Because what do you have to defend? Why do you need to label something as a projection? If you are truly selfless, then there's nothing but curiosity in investigating where this idea comes from. Now, of course, I wouldn't ever do this because I'm perfect now. But this is what I used to do. Just this idea of, look how free I am from societal judgments. I can even make myself look arrogant and be mean to people and not care about it. And then, I can even make it more meta and say, look how much I just showed you how self-aware I am of this. And this is why I'm clearly more spiritually advanced. And this is how it goes, right? This is how the ego can play forever. And the only way you can actually know how you identified with these things is from your own personal point of view. That if anything emerges in your experience, an emotion, a sensation, attention, something that makes you uncomfortable, then there's some sort of identity that gets attached to whatever you're projecting. And this is what, the ego does all the time. It's about signaling to other people some sort of value. because part of you really cares about how you're being perceived, what others think of you. I, for example, have very little inhibitions now, and I could probably do crazy stuff that would be embarrassing for most people. But it's not that all of this would be completely emotionless for me. Like I would probably still feel something and integrate something where new conditions come up. If I ran around the streets naked, for example, I could probably do so, and it would be pretty much embarrassing. But I don't think it would, hurt my identity in any shape or form. It would just be uncomfortable for a while. But if you completely integrate all parts of you that feel some societal judgment or discomfort from other people, and if you truly dissolve the ego fully, then you don't care at all about your being perceived. I mean, there might be some practical necessities of not pissing off your boss because it's just not conducive to survival. But if you completely integrate everything about you, then there's no shame. There's no feeling of shame anywhere ever. That's why these feelings of embarrassment or shame are extremely, extremely rare to me. Honestly, I don't actively can recall when I felt it the last time. I mean, it's quite matter because matter. I feel like I said the word meta wrong. Meta. Does not feel like I'm talking about Facebook. Oh my god, I hate that they named it this way. It should be illegal. The way you feel the emotion just changes in a very substantial way. Like there's no resistance to the emotion itself. So you can even feel non-judgment about judgment. But what does that even mean, right? It becomes very wishy-washy by trying to explain it through words. The part of you that really cares about how it's being perceived permeates into all areas of your life. It is corrupting your authentic will and desires. You might think for your entire life that you really care about making money or becoming famous, or you made your first 100,000 euros and now you want to make 1 million, and then you want to make 10 million, and you think once you reach 100 million, then you're actually happy and satisfied in your life. And of course, it's amazing, but if you waste your entire time away and then you're 70 and you think, wait, this wasn't it, this wasn't the happiness that I was looking for, well, now you can't go back. Now, this is the way that the universe has concocted this realization for you. That, no material thing will ever give you the fulfillment that you're looking for. And it's all the outside world that has convinced you that this is what you need. And this outside influence towards our authentic desires is what holds everybody hostage. It's all about the fear of being seen naked, being seen vulnerable. And opening up a YouTube channel or starting a new rap career or doing some other weird stuff. There are an endless amount of things you could do that people will judge you for, or they might just ask, why are you doing this? Especially if it's something that you've not done before, when what you're actually doing is you're just being yourself. This desire to be perfect is what fuels this false sense of self. It fuels this desire for meaning and purpose and the idea of the hero's journey, to always find a flaw in your identity and to care about this flaw, to become somebody greater and better than you were before. You think that you are in the lookout for truth, but you're actually just wanting to feel wiser and smarter than everybody else, more awake than others. I used to be so flawed, but now look at me. I have achieved the deepest of all wisdoms. But the deepest of all wisdoms is to be a nobody, an identity that nobody cares about, not even yourself. To interact with yourself as if you are air. To see your body as nothing but a vessel, a character you've rolled because the cosmic dices decided to be you. And now what you're doing is you are suppressing this character to actually express itself. You think that the dices that you have rolled are so significant and so meaningful that you're scared of wasting this opportunity or not doing the right thing with the gift that has been given to you. So much so that you are wasting this opportunity of an authentic life in fear of being judged for not living the right character class that you actually wanted to play. And then what is the response? It is the idea that I don't care about this character at all. You pretend to be detached. You say that nothing really matters. You've seen through the illusion of the self, and you're not burdened anymore by the knowledge nothing truly matters because even this doesn't matter. So let me just waste my life away. It's just more cope, more denial. Because if nothing truly mattered, then suffering wouldn't matter either. And the fact that nothing matters would also not matter, so why are you even saying it? Why are you even thinking about that? As much as you'd like to dismiss your pain as not mattering in the grand scheme of things, that's not what feels real to you. As long as you perceive it, it is real to you, and therefore it matters to you. As long as you perceive in anything, there's stuff that matters. That's why atoms are matter. You cannot escape it. It's everywhere, all around you. As long as you are restricted in your behavior, in your thinking or feeling, you care about it. If you don't stop constricting yourself, all your suffering will get 10 times worse before it gets better. You're just burying it until the volcano breaks out. You've created an identity through wisdom, through understanding and knowledge. And maybe you dismiss the part of you that wants to feel humble again, to recognize that there's so much more that you don't know that actually would be exciting to discover about the world and yourself. That's this childlike curiosity that is, burning inside of us. I used to feel identified with the idea of having discovered the nature of consciousness. Then I felt identified with the idea about how much success I've had in my relationships. Then I felt identified with the idea about how intelligent I am. Then I felt identified with the idea of not being identified with anything. You can't get rid of yourself as long as you are in this body. You can't transcend what you are if you reject yourself at the same time. The path to genuine wisdom, to lift selflessness, can only happen through really seeing what you are and not wanting to escape it. You need to acknowledge everything that matters to you and to see how much it matters to you, how much you care about this world, how much all this anger and bitterness that you feel matters to you, the frustrations of a mediocre life, and the sadness of lost opportunities, the pain that countless beings must go through every day. Because you've created this. There's no way to turn a blind eye towards all of it. Once you see how much it truly matters, how much it means everything, then you'll see that meaning is real, that things do matter, and there you find that your actions have consequences. Maybe insignificant in comparison to the cosmos, but everything from your point of view. All pain is resistance to truth, and the more you work through all levels of pain, both from the intellectual level to the emotional level, you become free of all of it. Then you realize that all these tensions were never real to begin with. And in the same way, you were never real to begin with. All emotions, all bodily tensions, all minimal sense of insatisfaction is still a false sense of identity. It's always a construct that is looking for something to be unsatisfied about. This mechanism goes really deep. And deconstructing this mechanism is what spirituality is really about. All this talk about manifesting and infinite abundance is kind of the outcome of this deeper work. To stop restricting what you actually want to be and to actually look for the meaning that would naturally emerge once you start to deconstruct the egoic part that clings to this egoic sense of meaning. Then you'll actually be happy. Then you'll actually be content because you don't need to be anybody else anymore. You just know who you are and feel confident in understanding that. To make this understanding your lived reality, I'm offering a one-on-one 8-week program that you can check out in the link below. This is where we dive deep one-on-one together. Okay, that's it. Peace out.